right, guys, we have Dr. Nicki back on the phone. You guys requested to hear from her again because she is awesome and she helped so many of us with the lost episode. And now she's back to fix more of our problems because we're talking about fears and phobias. And Tracy and I are really trying to understand, where do they come from? Are they normal? Can they be fixed? Fear that is something that you've learned, Dr. Nicki, like something like if a dog bit you and now you're afraid of dogs, is there a way to overcome that?
Well, there's a way to overcome all fears.
Whoa.
No, it's true.
Wow.
But it's not instant soup, it's not, it doesn't happen in a hot minute. But the thing is that the interesting question is, a dog bites you,
Mm-hmm.
and you develop this lifelong fear of dogs. A dog bites me, and I say, oh, poor dog, one off, and I have no fear of dogs. Why is that?
Yes, why is that?
Why is that? Because the question is always, why do we have our particular response to things, not just what happens to us, but it's our relationship to what happens to us that really matters. So, for instance, one person is brought up in an alcoholic family, and it's very chaotic and it's traumatic, and they grew up, and so they follow suit, and they have traumatic, alcoholic, chaotic relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Another person grows up in the same kind of family, and they go in the opposite direction, and they never touch a drop, and they have the most sort of regular life you can possibly imagine.
Right.
So what is that, right? Any guesses?
The level of trauma?
One would think, but really it's not so. It's not quite the level of trauma. It's how we're built organically to begin with is part of it. So, some people are born introverts, some people are born extroverts, and also the genetic coding that we have. So if we have a particular genetic coding, I was working with someone today, and we were talking about her fears that are keeping her from actualizing, and she's got everything she needs to have an amazing life. I mean, she's got she's a good-looking woman. She's smart. She's affable. She's social.
She sounds amazing.
She is. And she can't have, she has nothing but lousy relationships, and which she chooses in a sense and stays in for after the proverbial fat lady is sung, because she doesn't really trust herself, and she comes from a family where anxiety and fear are the name of the game, and so that has been modeled to her. And she's gone along that line too. So she freezes up when it comes to success or follow through, and she uses procrastination to feed her fear, and fear to feed her procrastination, and all these other kinds of things. Because so there's these three things that happen in the face of fear. We fight, we flight, or we freeze.
Wow.
Right?
The three F-bombs.
Flight or fight is, something.
That's three F-bombs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so the question is, so that's going to some degree, it's going to be based on how we are as individuals when these sort of difficult experiences happen, or when just life happens and comes towards us.
Right.
So for me, the idea is always figure out what are the initial beliefs about ourselves feeding these fears and these phobias? What are the initial beliefs about ourselves? Because the thing that feeds fear most, from my point of view, is self-doubt. Self-doubt.
Is that the ultimate fear?
Is
that the ultimate fear?
Well, I mean, I'm not enough.
Self-doubt is like just not being able
loved.
to accomplish anything.
Yeah, I'm not worthy. I don't have capacity. And then, of course, anxiety, which is code really for so much of what ails, right? Mm-hmm. And it feeds this thing that everybody does call, has now called stress, right?
Yeah.
I have I have a course in my new academy called Stress is the New Normal, because do you know anyone who comes along and goes, yeah, I have no stress. I'm chill.
No. No.
Everybody's stressed. Yeah. Yeah. And so, but stress is it's something of the mind. It's something that the mind creates. It's a illness, so to speak, of the mind. And I don't mean that clinically. And anxiety is part of that. Anxiety is mind created. Fear is mind created, except for, the organic fears that are very, right? So you want your kid not to run in the middle of the street because the kid's going to get run over. That's a smart fear. Or put their hand in the fire. That's a smart fear.
That's a good example. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what the acronym for fear is, right? False evidence appearing real.
Oh, holy shit. That's crazy.
I've got another one. Now we're streaming, right? So I can swear, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The other acronym is fuck everything and run.
Yes, I've heard that one 100 times.
Nicki.
I've heard that all the time. Because I say that, like, when I'm like, when I'm faced with something that I'm scared of, I'm like, no, fuck this, I'm leaving.
Yeah, exactly. That's the flight response. And originally, all these responses, these fear-driven responses, we have anxiety feeds the fear. We have these fear-driven responses, and they came up very naturally and organically as protective defenses, right? We have this experience, the bear is coming. We're standing in the forest, the bear is coming. And we fight, we flight, we freeze. Freeze is actually when the bear is coming, we're supposed to freeze. I don't know who does that. Who's going to freeze when the bear is coming?
Not I, said the fly.
Nope.
Catching the flyer, right? Don't move when the bear comes.
Yeah.
So what happens when we get that afraid, and it happens all the time in all of our fear-driven experiences, is all of the adrenaline and all of the juice runs to the extremities of our body, and everything in the middle shuts down. So all of our organs shut down during that experience. So you can imagine if we're in fear and anxiety much of the time, how dangerous that is to our physical body.
Yes.
That's like the paralyzing fear, right? When you're like...
That's right. And what happens is, and this is what stress does to us, and what happens is we are inviting all manner of illnesses, everything from migraines to sexual dysfunction to fibromyalgia to, it runs the gamut. It runs the gamut. So what do we do about that?
What do we do, Dr. Nicki? Help us.
We try to change our relationship to the fear and the anxiety. Change our relationship to it. So we come to appreciate that we actually have a choice about how we're responding to things. So fear and anxiety have become defenses, supposedly to protect us.
Right.
But really, they have imprisoned us instead. So we want to change our relationship to that. So there's all sorts of ways to do that. I mean, we can, I like to go back and have people, when I work with this, go back and look at where did their fears start? I mean, were they cowering every time their dad came home? Because,
I was going to say, does a lot of it start in childhood?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All of our habitual responses and the defenses we build grow up in response to a story that we tell ourselves about our life and who we are based in our early life. So my parents ignore me, and therefore I build a story that I deserve to be abandoned and ignored. And then I put defenses up around that to keep my story intact because I want to believe what I've told myself. So I was not good with heights at one point, right? So now I was doing this a long time ago. I was doing this Aikido thing, right? So in Aikido, you're just standing on the floor, right? And there's a mat in front of you, and you learn to roll forward, right? You're rolling from a standing position to a mat. it's not exactly a distance. Do you know what I mean? It's not,
Yeah.
but I am telling you, I looked down and I'm like, I cannot do this.
Wow. So you had a real paralyzing fear of heights. Yeah.
And it was all about control. It was all about control. I can get on a ladder, but I couldn't take my own body down that way.
Wow.
And the teacher said to me, we don't have to do it. The minute he said that, I did it.
Wow.
Because it was something about me taking control of the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And understanding that, yes, of course, I have a choice. Or I rode the mules down to the Grand Canyon, right? It's a big hole. And you're on a little ledge. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
there's so many things nobody could get me to do.
So, but I got up on the mule, and my husband looked at me and he said, "Honey, you don't have to do this if you don't want to." I was fine to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It was the idea that I was in charge, and a lot of these things, these fears and phobias, it's because we don't know that we are bigger than the thing we're facing.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know. We think we're really at the mercy of these elements and that we can't survive it. And we get ourselves in, we get our panties in a wad over it, right? So lots of deep breath, lots of deep breathing. We leave our bodies in that moment too. We dissociate. We jump out of our body. We're not inside our...
Me.
Tracy, what fear?
That's like me when I see mice, my whole body actually tingles.
So
like
actually,
I
Nicki,
can't
what
control.
can we do to help Tracy with her mouse fear?
Her mouse fear?
Yeah, like
Just-
rats. I have such an actual...
For fun, I would take that and say, well, what do rats represent? They represent a very primitive kind of deep, dark part of our unconscious. That's a part of yourself that you're afraid to go into in a really profound way, blah, 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 blah. But for immediacy, the first thing you do is start to breathe down into the center of your body. Breathing down into the center of your body. Because guaranteed, you've lost your body, your connection with your own body.
Yeah,
and
it's
now,
an out-of-body experience. I see myself flipping out, and I see myself not breathing, and the chills, it just makes me literally scream and run, and I know I can't, I'm not able to control my emotions around the fear of it.
Yes, yet. So this is what you do. You say, I am here, I am fine. Try that. Now, you may go a little before that happens.
Yeah, I can't even walk down the aisles at
You got to try it. This is your assignment, to go into a pet store and say, I am here, I am fine.
Oh my
God.
Yeah,
I am here, I am fine.
I'm getting chills right now thinking about it. Like I can't sit still right now.
She's saying you can conquer any of your fears.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can. You can conquer your fears. But you see, this is what we do. We empower our fears. And we treat fear as if it's the most important feeling there is. Like it's bigger than lust, like it's bigger than joy.
Yeah.
Nothing is bigger than lust.
You're so right, though. You're so right. You're feeding into it.
You're feeding into it. And it's just another feeling.
Wow.
And again, false evidence appearing real. That little rat is not interested in you, believe me. Not interested, only interested in getting away from you.
Mm.
And so breathing in, I am here, I am fine. And then, you have to start feeding yourself that better information.
Don't forget, guys, new clips air every Thursday. So see you next Thursday.
Hosted on dimlywit.com.
Even though we are not your best examples,
We're the best you've got.
so cheers, bitches.
Cheers. Make sure you subscribe to our channel for updates. And if you like this clip, share it with a friend.